Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paola and today I bring you the 2022 Reading Superlatives. This is a video that I find via Kayla from Books and Lala. So I will leave a link to her video from 2021, and as soon as she uploads the 2022 one, I'll include that one as well. So these are a series of questions and obviously books are the answers. So I'm gonna read them and I'm gonna answer them and it's gonna be great. The first question is, how many books did you read in 2022? I read a total of 57 books, which is actually way more than I thought it would be. So I'm very happy with myself about that. Out of the 57 books that I read, 7 were graphic novels, 10 were poetry books and verse novels, 14 were YA novels, 14 were adult novels, 5 were nonfiction books, and 7 middle grade books. The second one is how many pages, and I read a total of 13,124 pages in 2022. Yay me. What was your most read genre? For me, it was contemporary in general. I read a total of 33 contemporary books. But if we get into subgenres of that, I read a total of 15 contemporary fantasy books, which is kind of unheard of. I haven't done my reading statistics in a really long time, but this one kind of surprised me. And as I was doing it, I was like, oh, I think contemporary fantasy is going to be the winner here. Who knew? What was your favorite 2022 release? Hands down, Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid. I found sort of like a loophole so that I could get to talk about it a little bit more in my best adult books. And I believe I mentioned it in my bookshelf tour because it was published in the UK by Penguin, but obviously the people who made it happen were at HarperCollins. And not just me, but Ava has also been really vocal about the support that they have for the HarperCollins Union. So I will refrain from speaking about it more in detail than I already have. But yes, I love this book, and if you get it, please consider donating to the HarperCollins Union. The next question is, what was your favorite release that was not from 2022? For this one, I have a slightly surprising read, surprising for me, and it is Turtle Under Ice by Julia del Rosario. This is a 2020 book, and it is just heart-wrenching, amazing. This was published by Simon Teen, and I read it, I believe, in April because it was National Poetry Month, and that book, Turtle Under Ice, was one of the free reads available at rivetedlit.com, so I will leave a link to that down below. Hashtag not an ad. They do not pay me to talk about these books, but I think you will really benefit from checking out rivetedlit.com. They have free reads every month, and during the month of December, they have 25 different books that are available to read for free on the website for one day only, which makes the experience very exciting. But anyway, Turtle Under Ice is about two sisters who recently lost their mother, and they are dealing with a lot of grief and anger and a lot of feelings, and it is in verse. It is amazing. Seriously, you are completely missing out if you're not reading this. You can read this any time of the year. I don't think there's a specific season that I associate it with. And it is, like I said, heart-wrenching. It made me laugh. It made me cry. It was just beautiful, and in such few words too. You can tell that every single word mattered, and I was blown away. The next question is, what is a book that lived up to the hype? For that, I have to say The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. I actually don't remember how hyped this book was, but I do remember that anybody who read this book, whose video I watched, loved it, would give their life for it, love it. And I was very intrigued by that. I also loved the cover. I loved the fact that it was a graphic novel. And when I went to Houston, I finally read it, and it was just beautiful. This is a book that's about Prince Sebastian, whose parents are looking to wife him up, but he does not want to be wifed up as of yet. He just wants to go out at night, dress up as a princess, and be stunning, and nobody knows. There's obviously a lot of stigma about it, and so the only two people that know are the dressmaker, Francis, who is the absolute best, and his like bodyguard, night guard, whoever follows him around and keeps him safe. He also knows, and it's a love story, and it's about family, it's about secrets. It's just wonderful. I highly recommend this one. If you read any graphic novel that I recommend, I hope it's this one or Displacement by Kiku Hughes. The next question I'm not going to answer because it is a book that didn't live up to the hype, and I honestly didn't read a lot of books that I heard a lot of buzz about, so there was really not one of these books that disappointed me. So great job, me, in picking up amazing books and amazing books only. What was the biggest reading accomplishment? Personally, it was reading. Like I said, 57 felt like way too big of a number for me to even achieve. I don't remember what my original goal was, probably a lot more. But as the months went by and life started happening, I was like, holy shit, I miss reading. And I ended up really loving all the books that I read, even if some of them I read them begrudgingly. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I had to force myself to read because my brain was just not having it. What was your favorite character? Marlene Shin from Juniper and Thorn. We've already established that I'm not going to talk about it too much in detail, but yes, I love her. I would give my life for her. So if you read it and you love it and you read it because I recommend it, let me know in the comments below. Least favorite character is also from Juniper and Thorn. I don't remember his name. I think it's Derchak, whatever. He is Savis's, the love interest, mentor, and he sucks. I hate him. Good job, Ava, for writing such a great character, but God, I can't stand him. The next question is, what was the book with the most surprising moment? Hands down, The Vanquishers by Kaylin Bayron. That book managed to knock the wind out of me every single time something happened. Like, I don't want to say where or at what points in the book because I feel like that is like a soft spoiler, but I don't enjoy soft spoilers either. And this is a 2022 release, so I feel like it is better if you just read it and are amazed by it just by virtue of it being an amazing book. Again, if you read it because of me, let me know. Favorite writing of the year? I have two, and they're both horror. And so that I discovered a lot of things about myself in 2022, like the fact that I enjoy horror. Who knew? Anyway, the first one is obviously Kaylin Bayron. She wrote an amazing horror book for middle graders, The Vanquishers. I was scared. I was spooked. It was incredible. And the second one is Ava Reed. My heart cannot deal with her amazing prose. I just think they write the most incredible books. If you're more of a YA reader and you've read and enjoyed books by Anna Mary McLemore, I would highly recommend that you read books by Ava Reed. They both write about traumatic events. They both explore trauma and identity in different ways. And obviously, Ava writes for adults, and Anna Mary McLemore writes for young adults. And they both have books coming out in 2023. Anna Mary McLemore has a fantasy book, I think, with their husband, and Ava has a YA book. Their YA debut book is coming out. It's called A Study in Drowning, and it looks amazing. Next question. The book you pushed most people to read? I have two. One of them is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed. I promise I'll shut up about it eventually, but 2022 was shaped by Juniper and Thorn and nothing else. And also It Sounds Like This by Ana Mariano. Those books completely stole my heart, and these two are incredible writers. Please go support their work. Next question is, what is the book that you will be recommending to people the most? And other than those two, I will be recommending the hell out of The Vanquishers by Kaylin Bayron. Please read it immediately. Favorite newly discovered author? Margarita Engel. Oh my God, I read two books by her this year. The first one was Singing with Elephants. That one I read for my interview with her on We Need Diverse Books. And the second one I read on the Riveted Lit website. This one was Soaring Earth, and it is her second memoir. It is a follow up to her first memoir, obviously. And this one details her teenage years in the 1960s, and they're both breathtaking works of art. If you enjoy poetry, if you enjoy books in verse, Margarita Engel is the writer for you. What was your favorite cover? I have two. The first one is Lulu and Milagros Search for Clarity by Angela Vélez. This one was AD'd. I don't know what that means, but it was in the credits for the art. So it was AD'd by Corina Lopp, and the lettering and illustration was done by Ileana Galvez. And the second book cover that I want to shout out is from Turtle Under Ice by Julia del Rosario. And this one was illustrated by Adams Carvalho. Those two covers have my entire heart, and they really speak to what the books are about. Oh, oops, I forgot to mention another one. It is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I read in an article that it was done by Brian Kimsky. I don't know if they designed the cover. I don't know if they photographed McCurdy for the cover, but they were credited in the article. And about the cover, which is amazing, Jeanette said, "Confetti spilling out of an urn felt to me like a good way of capturing the humor in the tragedy, but I knew I didn't want to go as far as throwing the confetti or jumping in the air with a huge smile on my face, or doing any other kind of body language / facial expression that could read as flippant. Ultimately, I chose a facial expression that I think reads as sincere, a little pained, and a little hopeful." The next question is, what is a book that made you cry the most? Hands down, Ophelia After All by Raquel Marie. This is a book about Ofelia Rojas, and she is a teenager, and she is sort of known around her friends as the girl who always has a crush on a boy, and this time she has a crush on a girl. And it's about identity, it's about queerness, it's about the expectations that we think we have to live up to our friends, to our family. It is amazing. Next question is, what is a book that made you laugh the most? I have a three. One is It Sounds Like This by Ana Meriano. If you are an adult who enjoys reading YA books and who remembers what teenage boys were like in your adolescence, this book will absolutely remind you of them. It is incredible. It is funny. It is just so wonderfully written, and I love those 6 freshman boys, and one who is not a freshman but certainly behaves like one. The other book that made me laugh was Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed. This is a very dark book, but when it comes to the lighthearted moments, it really nails those moments down. Savas is one of my favorite love interests ever, and he's just so witty and quick, and I love him to pieces. And the other book that made me laugh a lot was the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Percy is just, you know him, you love him. He is clever, he's very quick, and he loves to forget that he's speaking to Greek gods with the power of making him stop living, but he just does it anyway. I don't know if he knows that he maybe cannot get away with that, but the gods so far let him get away with it. So we have 2 more questions, and then the superlatives are done. I'm very excited about this video. Anyway, so the second to last question is, what was your favorite reread? For me, that was Sane, the autobiography. I remember enjoying it when I first read it back in, I want to say 2016. But this time I was left with so much more. It made me feel emotional, and it made me feel sort of connected to Sane in a different way. That sounds very parasocial, so I apologize, but he and I go way back. So yes, I love that book, and I really, really would love to see what else he's got inside to share with the world in the form of a book. And the last question is, what was your most surprising 5-star read? For me, that was Turtle Under Ice by Julia del Rosario, just because I read it on a whim. I read it in a single day, in a single sitting, actually, because it was the last day of April, and the next day the book was gonna be gone from the Riveted Lit website. It was just such an amazing experience. I remember having to stop at times to sort of catch my breath because of just how stunning the verse was. So I highly recommend that you check out this book. Alrighty, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the 12 Days of Christmas video series that I did. I hope you enjoyed the videos. I certainly enjoyed making them. And yeah, if you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.